Right, okay, this week's a busy week for us, so I'm going to take you around and show you some of the things we're doing this week, but also it's busy for us outside the garden. This week, as you're watching this video, Friday that just passed was my birthday. Hurrah! Happy birthday to me. Saturday that just passed is our wedding anniversary, which some of you guys who've been here a while know we actually got married in this garden. There's a blog post about it if you want to go and look and see all the photos. There were no dresses. What else then? Yes, we're also, as you're watching this, the excitement, we were actually out visiting friends in their garden for a barbecue. First time in so long. So it's going to be dead cool. So looking forward to that. So yeah, I'm going to show you this actually. I can show you it because this is getting shown after it and they don't know about it. But they gave us a fantastic housewarming present when we moved in here, and it was the hydrangea that you guys see me talking about a lot. So as a housewarming present for them, we have actually taken a cutting and brought it on. So it's that whole awesome circle of life thing, sharing garden things, so it's quite cool. Right, so this week then, what we're going to focus on this week is a thing that connects all gardeners, and it is this. When you get seriously into your gardening, and it doesn't matter what type, whether you're growing flowers, fruit, veg, whether you're wanting to show, you're just eating for yourself, or you're wanting cut flowers for the house, you all have this thing in common, and that is we look at our garden and we always think about the future. So for us this week, we're looking at things and thinking, oh, what jobs need done? So the whole thinking forward thing, well, we're just out just getting normal jobs done today. But in doing them, it's that time of year. It's coming up towards the end of July. And this is the trick. When you have gardened for a couple of seasons or more, you automatically start seeing what went well, what didn't, having to think about the coming months and what's going to change and what you're going to do. Some of it is going to be about next year. Some of it's just going to be next month, 2 months down the line, autumn, winter, that kind of thing, because everything's got a lifespan. Here, for instance, so we already said, I think I planted far too many peas. They're really, really crowded. I think I'm really putting the bed under strain with the amount of fruiting or the amount of producing that's going on here. And a lot of it's looking a bit sad. And a lot of the pods we didn't get to before they've kind of gone past. So I'm going to tidy this up and see what the state of play is. Because it may be time to take it out. Maybe these are all past. And it's nothing to be sad about. That's just the way it goes. If I had been clever and I'd wanted to, I could have had some more peas going in maybe the greenhouse waiting, ready to come out. And I could have kept it going that way. But I didn't. So you live and learn. So all I'm doing is anything that's just looking past, I'm taking it down to the next green, healthy looking sort of leaves and shoots. And I'm just going to let it see how it goes. You never know, it might even encourage some new growth. And of course, it's not a sad thing. There's all of this foliage that is going to go in the compost, and that's going to feed the garden and bring on all the new stuff for next year. So it's not wasted. And all those pods that we missed, well, they dry out, and that's next year's seeds. If it's going in the compost, give it a good chop, get it down into tiny little bits, and it'll compost faster. And of course, this week I harvested my garlic. So pleased. But what I need to do is I need to let it dry and cure, because it's still got all its green stems and stuff, even though it was dying back. I've got it in the shed, just hanging up, lets air get about it. It doesn't get lots of direct sunlight in here. It gets light, but it's not direct light. It's not going to get wet in here because we are still getting rain some nights, so I can't leave it out in the garden like Monty Don does. But yeah, I'll give that maybe a couple of weeks, see how it's doing. So there's some pruning that needs to get done, and I'm going to start with that out the front. I'm going to show you some tricks for pruning. So the first lot of pruning I'm going to be doing is my rhododendron, and basically I'm just going to be taking off all last year's flower heads so it can put the energy back into the plant. The second lot of pruning is a wee bit different, and it's going to involve some brightly coloured string. So these are the seed heads that used to be flowers, and you can sometimes just snap them off and they come off whole. If you struggle, then you can easily just get right into the base with a set of secateurs and snip them off. So, big bucket of old seed heads. That's number one job done on the rhododendron. The next thing I'm going to do is it's about shape. There's a lot of really woody growth at the bottom, and it's getting quite low, and we want to just raise that up a bit. So just raise the whole plant by taking any of this kind of low-hanging woody stuff off that we don't want at the bottom. It's purely about what it looks like in its shape. Now, it's finished flowering for the year, and it's not going to go dormant because it's an evergreen, but it's not going to be putting loads of effort into growth from now on. So this is a good time to prune, because I don't want to encourage it to suddenly grow loads, but I do want to get in there and start getting it tidied up. And it's just the job of chopping. So just have a look and just say, right, what do you want to come off? So really low bit at the side. Yes, it looks brutal, and pruning is really scary to do the first couple of times you do it, because you're just worried that you're going to ruin it. But don't worry, it looks brutal just now, but what we're doing is we're encouraging it to grow into this, we call it a goblet shape, but where there's not lots of low-hanging branches on the bottom, because it's a nightmare trying to cut the lawn and the grass under there gets shaded, it's difficult to get in to feed it, all that kind of stuff. So this way we're letting all the air and light get about the bottom, we're encouraging this to stay much more upright, and we'll keep shaping it as the years go. But this was just the first drastic prune, the scary one, because we had let it get to that stage. Now, the next one I said I needed my coloured string for. Technically, I'm not actually going to be pruning this today because I'm going to do the Acer. Now, the thing is, we have got this beautiful Japanese Acer in the front garden. The front garden is south facing, it gets baked with the sun, it gets all of the horrible winds and stuff we get, but it's really happy here, even though it shouldn't be. But one of the things we want to do is the same as with the rhododendron, and we started this last year. Hello, Belle. This one's not ours, this is a neighbour's cat. We started this. Don't shake the camera, Belle. Go and see Kate. So we started this last year, but we pruned it in winter. So Japanese Acer has a lot of sap. In fact, any Acer, any maple type tree has a lot of sap. So we trim it or we prune it in winter time because there's less sap because it's dormant. It's just more likely to heal and not have any problems that way. But the problem was we pruned it to the shape we thought we wanted. But of course, as soon as it gets all these leaves on it, the branches get heavy and they drop. And we realised actually we needed to do a bit more. So, given that I'm not going to prune it today, what's the string for? That is because I'm going to tie a piece of string around all of the branches that I need to prune. So come winter, when it's dropped its leaves and those branches move, I can easily recognise the ones I want to prune. So we don't have to do this again next year. So all I'm doing is just tying string on those branches and I'm leaving it. Simple. So since we're out front anyway, let's talk about the rockery. So you guys know one of the most spectacular things out here in the front garden in spring is our rockery. It's a collection of succulents and saxifrage and just general smaller flowers that do well in this environment. And in spring, it's just glorious with colour. But come kind of summer and getting on the end of summer, it's not in flower anymore. So although the plants don't die back, I mean, they're all here all year, they kind of get a bit lost because a lot of them are similar colour to just the environment. So what we're going to do today is we're not going to replace any of these flowers, we're not doing anything like that. We're just going to have a simple zhuzh and we're going to add some grit into the rockery. Now, there is already some alpine grit here, but a lot of it has got lost over the years with us planting and moving and the rain and all that stuff. And it's a kind of beigey colour, so a lot of it just gets lost and the plants get lost in it. Today we're going to replace it with some nice bright white stuff that we think will make everything really pop. Oh look, weeds. This is a problem, being a gardener. Every time you go near the garden, you just end up pulling up weeds. Right, to work. 20 kilo bicep curls. It's not bad. You're going to have to go side on so they can see the guns though. So, like she said, it's just white grit. So it's a wee bit bigger than the horticultural grit that we used before, but everything should stand out really well. But what a difference, now all those places you thought were bare, you can see plants like this sort of whole like cascade here. It's like a wee river of all the plants that were just getting lost before. So it's going to be really interesting to come back and check on this over the year. And next year, is it going to make it pop in summer? Is it going to be a bit better? We can only try. You do realise people probably think we're mad that we're brushing off our bricks. Interesting fact about our rockery, it was built using some of this old monoblock bricking that we lifted when we laid our lawn. Figured, why spend a fortune on fancy rocks when we could just use that? So that's why it always looks like there's bricks in there. So another thing then, it's all new for next year. I'm hoping you can see this. I mentioned these in the review video I did, I think it was the first video in January or something I reviewed last year, and I said how I'd bought the blackberry plants. It's a big change for the coming year. So we have heaps of fruit on here. It's not ready yet, but soon. But it's also putting out all the new growth for next year, which will be what it fruits on next year. I don't know if you can see, but all of this. So Kate's already planning how we're going to do this. We think we're going to build a kind of long trough type planter here and put the supports in for it. So we're thinking that over. But I'm going to put a call out. I've never grown these before. These are thornless blackberries. They're Loch Ness variety. If you grow this stuff already and you fancy giving me some advice, I need to know about what I prune and what I don't. So I know I don't prune off the new growth, that's for next year. But some of it is putting out these shoots on the side. Do I leave them? Do I prune them? Do I prune this? What do I do? So if there are any YouTubers out there that grow this stuff, give me a shout, because I'd really appreciate it. So that is us for this week. I'm just seeing if I can make you dizzy. No, I'll stop. So that's us for this week. I hope that has been a wee bit of fun. Just seeing some of the daft stuff we're working on this week. And like I say, excitement because we're going out. See you next week.